All right, everyone, I'm here. Calm down. All right. Better late than never is what I like to say. Welcome to the stream, one and all. My name is Tommo. And today, we're talking about the French Grand Prix. Hello, everyone. How we doing? Welcome. YouTube, stop telling me to add ads into my live stream. I'm literally live now. Leave me alone. You just stop trying to monetize me. Welcome, everyone. Sweaty. Yes. Although it's not as hot as it was earlier in the week. I'm sure everyone who was outside of the UK was sick of people from the UK complaining about how hot it was on Monday and Tuesday. But we're here now. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for coming. How are we doing? And unfortunately, yesterday for me was a complete write-off. I was actually quite sick yesterday. It started like Tuesday night. So I've recorded video in the morning. Okay, I did loads of editing on Tuesday. I was actually quite happy with myself. Boiling hot, didn't want to go outside. It was really hot in here. Edited all day, and then in the evening I started to feel a bit rubbish. And then yesterday I was gone. Like yesterday was horrible, man. Some bug, I don't know what it was. But I'm pretty much all right now. So yeah, all is well in the land of Tommo anyway. But thank you all for coming. Jan, Shanky, Gabe, MD, Lucas, King, Hobart, Borg, Uriel, Jet, Agatha, Famke, Lando, Austin, Airwave, yeah, Addison, Maid, Andrew, Caroline. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'm wearing my this is not a real football shirt. If you've heard of Lovers FC, it's like a football shirt kind of streetwear brand. But this was stocked in H&M, and I got it for a bargain, and I love their stuff. I've been following them for time, so it's all good. But yeah, thank you all for coming. It's good to be back. It feels like, I mean, it's obviously we've had a week off. Okay, it was, I guess, because now this is my life. You know, I've always loved F1, but now it's my job as well, and it always feels extra long. I always feel like, oh, it was good to be back. It's like I've not streamed for about 12 years. It's been 2 weeks, mate. It's not even been 2 weeks. But there you go. We are back, and we are in Parlez-vous français? Sacré bleu. Allez les bleus. We are in France. Like, if you're French, pipe up in the chat, because like no French people watch my stuff. I get plenty of Dutch, Germans. I get good amount of Spanish, Italian. No French. No French. Even though I love Esteban Ocon. What's the deal? I don't get it. But there you go. We are back. Round 12 of the 22 race season. So we're over halfway now. Well, we will be after this weekend. And yeah. Hello, le bleu. Okay, so there's a few of you in here. There's a few of you, but not as many as there should be. Considering you're our neighbours, you know, to us British. Thank you, Jack, for becoming a friend of Tommo. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. Welcome. Up the snails. Come on, you baguettes. No, you know what, right? And we'll talk about this later. But now there's a lot of opinions around the French Grand Prix, and ultimately, I think, you know, should the Formula One calendar have France on it? Absolutely. Whether it should be Le Castellet, up for debate. In fact, I'm going to poll you lot now, early doors. Le Castellet or Magny-Cours? Is that how you spell Magny-Cours? It's not Cours, it's Magny-Cours. But I'm just, there we go. Oh, okay. I did spell it correct, but I didn't put the hyphen in between. There you go. Because growing up for me, and to be honest, I I don't have particularly clear memories of Magny-Cours, but that was the French Grand Prix throughout kind of most of its history on the calendar. We were at Magny-Cours, and very good track. We haven't seen it in F1 for so long, it's hard to evaluate it now, but just in your first instance, do you think Le Castellet, where we are now, should stay? Or do you think the French Grand Prix should be at Magny-Cours? Because actually, we'll talk about Le Castellet in a bit. Anyway. Judge France after this weekend. So, I mean, we're seeing all of these tracks now in the first rendition of these new regulations. Is potentially making tracks that haven't been historically held in particularly high esteem, which I think Le Castellet is one of them. Maybe making them good, you know? Sometimes it's not the track's fault, it's the regulations' fault. But it's interesting. We'll see. We shall see. Magny-Cours. Magny-Cours. Well, but that's not as it's spelled, is it? Magny-Cours. Anyway, right. French Grand Prix. Last year, because I think the best way of reflecting is to look at the past. Look at what happened last year. Do we all remember this one? Max Verstappen win. Almost bottled it though at the start. Overshot, all on his own. Overshot, first corner, T1. Went wide, let Lewis pass. So Lewis took the lead, Max in second, Valtteri third. And then ultimately, it came down to the choice of a 1 or 2 stop. Mercedes went 1, Red Bull went 2. And it transpired that the 2 stop was probably the way to go. Valtteri ended up losing out to Checo as well. So Checo got P3 on the podium as well. But yeah, it was, I remember it being like it was a good race. You had some good battles through, like in the midfield. You had the McLaren making moves, and it wasn't like I think because it came down to it at the end, literally Max got past Lewis on lap, like 1 lap from the end, didn't he? So it was one of them that, yeah, and Valtteri was annoyed on the radio that they hadn't gone with a 2 stop. It was one of them. It wasn't. There was nothing bad about the race. There was some good bits. It wasn't a worldie, but I would say, as French Grand Prix have typically gone, I would say 2021 was definitely one of the better ones. Because like 2019, for example, was meh. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Perez had his "let's get him" moment. He did. Well, this was early doors for Checo, wasn't it? So, because what? Hang on, 2020. Let's see which round it was last year. So I've got you lot on normal latency. I apologise. So there is a big delay between your messages and me seeing them. But I just want to check which round it was. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So round 7. Okay. So Checo had a few races to bed into the Red Bull. Round 7 last year. It's round 21 this. So, hello, Will. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well, buddy. But yeah. So we'll see, won't we? Well, look. Let's just talk about it now, shall we? Because I think, the main kind of talking point, stealing that from the podcast that I do, for this, is the track any good? Because as you can see from this graphic, put together by F1 Stats Guru on Twitter, shout out. If you want stats, F1 Stats Guru, boom. Actually, since 2017, Le Castellet has had the second most overtakes of any track. Now, of course, do some of these account for drivers, quick drivers having bad qualities or engine changes or whatever and coming through the field? I'm sure that skews a lot of these numbers here. Yeah, Monaco being at the bottom and Melbourne pretty low as well isn't a massive surprise. Look, of course, as well, just the fact that there's overtakes doesn't mean it's a good race. Yeah, I shared this on Twitter earlier to get some of your thoughts on it. And look, it's one of them where the DRS pass into the chicane that breaks up the main straight, a lot of the time isn't much of an overtake. It's more of a, like, you pass someone without having to really work for it. You know, is DRS too powerful here? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe. It's all well and good having overtakes, but if they're not good quality ones, if they're not being hard fought, then they lose their value. But at the same time, when you don't have overtakes, you know, that's the main criticism levelled at Monaco. It has no overtakes at all. You know, I think Monaco's got none at all. And then you've got like somewhere like Le Castellet, where it's almost like when you do get them, they are maybe a bit too easy. It's that middle ground you kind of want to go for, right? Also, and Junaid, your comment, do you think, I'm going to do another poll, do you think Le Castellet is ugly? Oui or no? Do you think Le Castellet is ugly? The track itself. It's flat. So they've got all these blue, red, squiggly lines, alright? I could get a picture up, but you know what it looks like. You know what, I'll get a picture up. I'll get a picture up. Let's just find a picture on Google. Le Castellet. Do you think it is an ugly track? This is a good picture. That'll do. Alright, let's get an old window capture. Get this nicely cropped up. What do you make of that? What do you make? It's me. Hello. I'm in the corner now. Make this bigger. Actually, move this over. Why isn't this? There we go. There it is. Paul Ricard. Got so many different names. French Grand Prix, Paul Ricard, Le Castellet. This is, and again, this question is nothing to do with the quality of the racing. It's purely, do you think it's ugly with all these red lines, all these blue lines? I didn't realise, actually, I saw F1 put a bit of content out. So actually, the blue lines, they have some, they've got like the surface isn't flat completely to slow the cars down. And then the red is even more not flat. There's a better way of describing this, you know what I'm saying? To slow the cars down even more. Now, obviously, it's not a gravel track, right? But I didn't know that. I thought that was quite interesting. Mate, how is a track ugly? Look, people criticise the way this track looks all the time. Look, I'm just saying. Well, you're about 50-50. I think, honestly, I think it looks sick. I actually really like the way the track looks. Purely aesthetically, I think it looks very cool. It's very different. Yes, it's flat. But, you know, there's been some kind of attempt at design there. I think it looks cool. I like it. Welcome, Evan, to Friends of Tommo. Appreciate it, mate. Float votes closer than Brexit. There you go. That's what truly separates the people. Isn't it at the top of the mountain? I don't know, but the track's flat. It's not an undulating circuit, is it? I think it was cool. I like it. But anyway, this weekend, beyond just whether Le Castellet, Paul Ricard is any good, I think there's a degree of anticipation, and I think we've had a couple of false dawns this year when there's been this expectation that, Mercedes, this is their time, right? They're going to step up, and they kind of haven't done it yet. They've been getting the podiums, they've been consistent, but have they looked quick enough to win a race? Canada was probably not, all things considered. But this weekend, more upgrades, a lot of anticipation. It's true, Melina. Those lines on an undulating circuit would look pretty incredible. But this weekend, drive the weekend, Lewis Hamilton wins out, which I don't think's happened at all this year. So you lot are expecting big things. I got about 800 votes. I put out the poll quite late, so sorry if you missed the poll. But of about 800 of you, Hamilton takes 16%. So a pretty even spread, because it's not a particularly high percentage. But Lewis Hamilton takes drive of the weekend. In your predictions, not mine, yours. Followed by Max and Fernando, which, look, man, I still think that Alpine, in my opinion, Alpine are clear of Mercedes. Not Mercedes. Alpine are clear of McLaren. And I think Alpine, look, mate, I'd love to see. I think that let's just not, overextend. Let's at first, let's just make sure we've got a 3-car battle for wins. Okay, let's get Mercedes in there. Lovely. And then maybe Alpine as well. Maybe one day. That would be insane. Team W of the weekend, Red Bull just about takes it over Mercedes. So Mercedes up there again, but Red Bull still take it than Ferrari. Race winner still Max Verstappen for 42% of the vote, but Charles Leclerc 27, Lewis Hamilton 14. So big expectation for Lewis to do well, but not necessarily for him to win. Struggle of the weekend though, Daniel Ricciardo, 26% of the vote. He didn't have a bad Grand Prix at France last year, by the way. He was ahead of Lando. Was it team orders for Lando to go through? I can't remember. I know that Lando went past him, but I feel like that was because Lando was on fresher tyres, wasn't it? I don't know. And then Gasly and Stroll. There's no cap to Gasly or Stroll, to be honest. They were just pretty evenly spread the votes after that. There you go. So not much anticipation for Ferrari to do well this weekend. Hello, Matt. What do you mean, L? Thank you, the Terseverse, for the 400 rupees, mate. Do big YouTubers know each other and chill some? Well, I know that. Well, obviously, I know Aldas. I know Matt. I know WTF1 Matt and Tommy, because I used to work with them, for them, freelance for them. So yeah. It's important to network, because otherwise I'm just sat in my room all day on my own. I don't speak to anyone, which is a miserable potential existence. So no, I like to get myself out there and chat to people and make friends, you know what I mean? And thank you, Evan, for joining Friends of Tommo. I might have already thanked you, but anyway, again. I mean, Josh Revel's on the other side of the world, so as much as I'd love to chill with him, he's in New Zealand. Though he's been talking about coming to the UK. And when he does, don't you worry. Yeah, Donut met up with Nolan in California. Watched the race with him, which was fun. Sorry, did I miss someone's super chat? Oh, thank you, Michal, as well, for the 20CZK. It has 167 possible configurations. Look, I think it's only a thing in it. I do think, you know, the track format isn't amazing. It could maybe be better, but I don't love it. I don't hate it. You know what I mean? Today I look pink. Yes, that's what happens when a British man sees a little bit of sun. But there you go. So yeah, in terms of with your predictions there's nothing... Look, again, expectations around Mercedes is high. I get it. Actually, I want to try and see... There are a lot of memes around the Mercedes. Hang on, let me... Because Mercedes' new front wing. I know WTF1 posted it. Here we go. Let's get back on screen share. Boom. And make this smaller. How do I zoom out? There we go. Boom. That was... Oh. What the hell? What's going on with my... my zoom thing's being very weird. Whatever, doesn't really matter. It looks like the meme going around is that it looks like the new BMW grille, doesn't it? It's very tall versus this. Look, they're relatively kind of minor, small changes. I mean, I wouldn't worry about the colour. That's just the image. So we'll see. We'll see if it delivers. My expectations are pretty chill. You've also got Nick De Vries replacing Lewis Hamilton this weekend for FP1. Not the whole weekend, just FP1. Also, what is it? Zach Brown was talking about Colton Herta. He's pretty heavily suggested that Colton's going to be doing an FP1 session at some point this year. Should be excited to see. And I'm sure... do I think they'd give one to... Well, obviously they've got Alex Palou and they've got Pato O'Ward in the McLaren family. Well, technically Alex Palou's not actually with McLaren yet, is he? I wonder when, like, would McLaren be able to run Alex Palou? I guess there's nothing stopping Alex just being like, McLaren being like, Alex, you want to, you know, jump in the car for an FP1 session? And him just being like, yeah, okay. Just because he's not McLaren yet, he's still with Ganassi. But yeah, anyway. Piastri, yeah, obviously Piastri's a name. Obviously Piastri will get an Alpine FP1 run. Because who have you had? Because you've already had De Vries in the Williams. You've had Kubica in the Alfa Romeo. You've had Vips. I'm sure Vips had a run out, didn't he? Which in hindsight was a waste of time, seemingly no. Drogovic not signed to anything, correct? But yeah, interesting. We'll see. I feel like there's a lot more still to come. You know, considering what overall, which makes sense because, you know, there's mandatory. You have to run one FP1 session. Each car has to have a rookie in it for one FP1 session. So each team have to do it twice over the course of the year. Oh yeah, true. Kubica didn't count, did it? Towards that, it's a mandatory thing. And obviously you're gonna ideally wait until later in the season because every FP1 session in these new regulations, at the start of these new regulations, is of extra importance. You know, even Checo talked after you know, Vips had his seat. He was like, that put him on the back foot all weekend, from his point of view anyway. Whether he was just coming up with an excuse or not, Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I think like later on in the year, we'll be seeing that a lot more frequently, which is exciting to see. But De Vries is already getting 2. He's already had 1 in the Williams, and now he's getting 1 in the Mercedes, which is kind of interesting because, you know, yes, De Vries F2 champion, FE champion as well. Clearly a very capable driver, and you got to wonder, you know, the fact that he's had a run out in a Williams and he's getting a run out in a Mercedes. My nose is really red right now, isn't it? It's like really itchy. Yeah, the fact that he's already had, you'd think like, is he being lined up for some kind of seat next year? Maybe alongside Albon at Williams, maybe. I thought that was a done deal for Piastri, but maybe not. We'll see. We will see if Beckham can deliver the goods. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Sargent get that seat, but who knows? Honestly, who knows? Daruvala. Jehan's clearly a very good driver. Is he that cut above mustard that you need to be? He's usually been up the sharp end, hasn't he? But look, I mean, I think if he was given the opportunity to be in F1, he would be okay. Probably do a similar job to Zhou Guanyu, potentially. We'll see. We'll see. And we'll see as well about, yeah, you know, if De Vries did get the opportunity, I think that, you know, he would lean on a lot of that experience he's got in FE. You know, I think he's done a bit of endurance racing as well. I think jumping into these cars, I think that experience, I would argue that experience is more valuable than it was in the past, for me, anyway. But we'll see. Thank you, Callum, for the 449, mate. What track left on the calendar do you expect to produce the best race? Love the content, keep up the great work. Good question. Good question, Callum. So, hang on, what see what races we've got left. So we've obviously got Hungary next weekend. So we've got Hungary next weekend. Then we've got Belgium, Zandvoort, Monza, Singapore, Suzuka. Ooh, I'm so excited for Suzuka. I'm not going to lie. United States, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I mean, I'm the race I'm most excited for the remainder of this season is for sure Suzuka, is for sure Japan. Definitely. That's the race I'm most excited for. It doesn't always produce the best race though. So that was your question, Callum. So in terms of the best race, I think Interlagos, second last race of the season. Hopefully there's more than one driver in the title fight still by then. And if there is, I think that could be pretty exciting. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Also, the I might as well just go main screen now that I'm not really talking about France anymore. I can't be asked waking at 6 a.m. No, that's part of the fun. The Japanese Grand Prix, getting up super early, that's part of the appeal. Trust me. No, you can't have hair down Tommo back, Dan. That was out of pure laziness. I like the way people were like, oh, it's a choice and it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not a choice. I know I look like a twat. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, well, I don't know. It feels like all season this has been a thing where, you know, people have been questioning Sebastian Vettel and his belief in Aston Martin as a project. You know, from my point of view, from what I've seen from Aston Martin, yes, they haven't been massively impressive, but I think, you know, Seb's bought into a long-term vision and plan, and I think now would be way too early to jump ship, would be too early to give up complete hope. They haven't even finished their new factory yet. Like, come on. That should hopefully be finished beginning of next year. I think, you know, you've got a billionaire owner with his son in the team, so he's going to be extra invested in like making it work and extra invested in making Aston Martin work, even though the share price is down, which I'm not cashing my shares out just yet. And yeah, we are sport, Fred. I agree with sport. And that's why it's nice, because, you know, it's only on a very odd occasion that I have to get up really early for a Grand Prix. So it's more of a, because it's like a one-off, I don't mind it. It's fun. Anyway, yeah, so I think it would be way too... I think Aston have shown enough. Like, with this upgrade, they haven't really had a clean weekend, it feels like, since they brought this upgrade. Yeah, Seb still managed to get some good point scoring finishes and should have more if he wasn't taken out by what was it, Gasly and Schumacher. So I think that it would be too soon for Seb to jump ship. I really do. But I guess we'll see, won't we? What track do you want to see back the most? I don't know. I don't really... Nothing particularly comes to mind. Maybe Hockenheim. I do like Hockenheim. I think that's a fun track. It's decent. But what I will say actually about the Seb thing is that if he was to leave, that would be a colossal moment. Oh, did you hear that? That's how big my forehead is. That was like someone clapping. That wasn't as good, that second one. I shouldn't have done a second one. First one was too good. Rainbow Road. Yeah, I mean Sepang would be wonderful to see back as well, to be fair. But I do really like Hockenheim, and I feel like I'd love to see that back for sure. But also, yeah, to be fair, if I'm going to go Sepang or Hockenheim, there's enough races in Europe. Like, come on. So I would pick Sepang for sure. For sure. Spa better not get dropped. Wasn't it Gasly was saying in his interview, like, he's heard about potentially Le Castellet being dropped, which I've only heard as rumours, but the fact that a driver has now commented on it, a French driver as well, doesn't bode well for the future of this Grand Prix. But Indianapolis would be great to see back as well. I agree. What's the steering wheel behind you? Oh, you know what? That's funny. So this, there we go. This looks like a steering wheel, doesn't it? Does anyone know what that is? Does anyone know what that is? Is this not a steering wheel? I'll move over here so that you can see it a bit clearer. That Zandvoort should be sick this year. Looking forward to it. So yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3. Because how many races are in Spain? Okay. Yeah, look, the overwhelming majority of the calendar is in Europe or the Americas now. Okay, everyone else knows it's headphones. It was just the comment I read that thought it was a steering wheel. It's actually the perfect place to put my headphones because it's on my little Lando helmet. See? I thought that would be a nice way of storing it. See what I mean? Lando knows good content, right? Anyway, Kyle Army sounds like it's pretty close. We've seen Stefano Domenicali. He's been there. So I reckon that's probably close to an announcement, isn't it? Sepang was never well attended, too close to Singapore, and apparently charged a fortune for tickets. You do wonder now as well, like with F1 having blown up in the way that it has, whether, you know, you could say the same about Bud when we're in India as well. I think, you know, a lot of these venues would, the fan response would be bigger than it was in the past because the sport's a lot bigger. Don't you wear them shoes? Yes, I do. Well, I've only worn these a couple of times. But they're pink, like my channel, so... God, they look good, didn't they? Oh, mate, they look sick. I could not buy them. I saw them in the bait shop in, if there's any sneakerheads out there, you'll know who bait are, in LA. And I just had to buy them. And they saw them there. I was like, do you have my size? And they were like, yes. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay, I'm going to have them then. Right, anything else that comes to mind that's been spoken about, been talked about? This is not a real Germany jersey, by the way. Trying to think if there was anything else that's been spoken on, bar the classic. I mean, obviously, where we're coming up to the kind of mid-season break, which is just after mid-season, after Hungary, we get a month off. And that typically is when a lot of driver contract stuff is sorted. Typically. You know, are we going to hear about Latifi's future at Williams? Probably. I'd be surprised if we didn't hear about that over the summer break. Obviously, a lot of contract extensions. So the reason Seb's been talked about a lot as well is because his contract's up at the end of this year, as is, again, like Albon's at Williams. There's like plenty of drivers that contracts are up at the end of this season. So that would be like renewal season as such, wouldn't it? Thank you, Jamie, for the 299 Aussie. Imagine how good an Albert Park night race would be. And it would put the race at a better time for the European audience, which is the biggest audience. Just saying. Just saying. Base everything on British time because British bias, that's why. Oh no, not bait. Sorry, BAIT. It's a sneaker store. Right. What other questions have you not asked? Can Vettel win another World Drivers' Championship? I think if you give Vettel the car that he's quick enough and he's comfortable enough in, I think he can. Thank you, Reese, for the 499. Get ready for track limits. K-Mag signed an extension today with Haas. Did he? I'm just gonna double check that bit of information there, Reese. Not that I don't trust you, mate. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at their Twitter to see if I can't see anything on their Twitter. I can't see anything on Twitter, but I'm gonna trust you, Reese. Okay, I'm gonna trust Reese on this one. That K-Mag signed an extension. I mean, obviously they're keeping K-Mag for next year. He's been wonderful. What else? What is my dream road car? Oh, I really, really like the V8 Vantage at the minute. And the convertible V8 Vantage. Usually I hate convertibles. But that V8 Vantage convertible is... The FIA have given me 179. Very good. Thank you, Jean Todd. I appreciate you. FIA paying me off, obviously. Duh. Oh my God, yeah. Who remembers the Vietnamese Grand Prix in Hanoi that only ever existed in a video game. It's kind of sad, like, you know, that it just kind of got brushed under, moved on. I think all the work that was put in, obviously it was a byproduct of COVID that all went tits up, but the fact that it wasn't able to return, it's kind of sad. Kind of sad, really, isn't it? Because you never like when me and the Veloce boys, when we went to Valencia to see the old Valencia street circuit, like, it was cool, very cool, but also it was very sad, like, especially at the end, because like where we were at the start, we kind of went down the old main straight, and then you go through the bits like to where the bridge is, and that's all still being used. That's all kind of part of that kind of bay that's in Valencia. But then you get to the kind of outskirts and where the track's completely abandoned, and it's basically like a shanty town now. And just the fact that it's left in such disarray is so sad. And hopefully with the Vietnamese Grand Prix, I don't really know much about how much was built and whatever, but for it to have all just been chucked away just seems like a massive waste of time, you know what I mean? Piastri or Sargent? Look, I've said this, I think that Alpine aren't letting Piastri go anywhere. You know, Alpine would be foolish to allow Piastri to get away, because he's such a like driver for the future if he delivers on this potential that he's shown. But also, I think if it was a team like Williams, you know, Sargent's part of their driver academy, and if he does continue to do well in F2, it's his rookie year, remember, and he's second at the minute. Because the thing is as well, I think, you know, Felipe Drogovic had a great start to the season, and I think in part that's because it is his third season in the sport. Now you've got all these, you know, Hauger, Sargent, you know, Pourchaire in his second year. You've got these other drivers who, you know, they've had half a season to get on top of this car now, and then now more able to show. Doohan as well, really able to show their pace. Iwasa. You do wonder if it's going to be, you know, Felipe's pulled out a big lead, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think it's done and done. Vesti's been frustrating, hasn't he? He's had a couple of P1 qualifying, bottled the start. He's bottled a couple of starts, hasn't he, this year? Vesti has. How got overrated? I mean, obviously he comes with a lot of rating because he won Formula 3. But he's done a good job this year for a rookie, for sure. For sure. Yeah, Doohan's definitely got potential. He used to be Red Bull as well, didn't he? And then he went to Alpine in terms of driver academy. Sirotkin underrated, agree. Sergei Sirotkin, very underrated. Outperformed Lance Stroll when they were together at Williams. Yeah, Piastri beat Sargent in F3, but it came down to the last race, and Sargent got punted. So I don't think you can just like, ultimately, Sargent, Pourchaire, and Piastri were all in the championship fight into that last round in Formula 3. Alpine delaying Fernando's contract because they don't know what to do with Piastri. Yeah, Fernando is another driver with contract out this year. Look, I've said this. I think the optimum for Alpine is to keep it Ocon Alonso for next year, but guarantee Piastri a seat in another team, but keep him as an Alpine driver. I do think it's poll time. I'm doing another poll. All right. Okay. So options. There's Alpine loses. Or keeps. How do I word this? So Alpine are Alpine could potentially, if they can't find him a seat in another team that retains Piastri as an Alpine driver, they could be forced to make a decision to either lose Piastri forever to another team and they fully sign him up, or keep on Alonso and Ocon. Would you Alonso and Ocon in 2023 if that meant losing Piastri forever? Okay, I'm going to ask you like that. I think that's a better way of... Would you keep Alonso and Ocon in 2023 at Alpine if that meant you're going to lose Oscar Piastri forever as an Alpine driver? So say, I don't know, Williams, sign him and he's full Williams. He's not like still part of Alpine. He's fully gone. Because I feel like for a team to sign Piastri, he's a rookie with no race experience in F1. So is it worth a team taking that risk, and also taking that risk on a driver that also isn't going to be part of your future? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And look, I think as well, like, given Ocon's age, given his level of performances, which I think have been, like, they've not been bad. Like, I think people, as much as, in my mid-season report, I put Alonso 4th and I put Ocon 11th. Because I think Ocon's had a good season. He's not had a bad season at all. At all. He's had a good season. I don't think he's had a fantastic season. I think Alonso's shown that there's more pace in that Alpine. But I think Ocon's been good. I don't think he's been mediocre. I think he's been good. And I think Alpine would be silly to let him go. Why do I hate Herta? I love Herta. He's fantastic. Would you keep Ocon Alonso 2023 if that meant losing Piastri forever? 72% say no. So, okay. If you're dropping Ocon or Alonso for Piastri, which one? So, if you're dropping Ocon or Alonso for Piastri, which one are you dropping? Are you dropping Ocon or are you dropping Alonso? So, Alonso driving at a higher level than Ocon. I don't think there's any doubt in that at the minute. But is 41 next week. Like, literally, like in a week. Maybe just over a week. So, longevity-wise, look, it's insane the levels that Alonso's still able to produce. It's crazy. But it can't go on forever. Ocon will obviously has more longevity left in him. So do you get rid of Alonso, who, bear in mind, if Ricciardo doesn't leave Alpine, Alonso's not getting signed. Alonso was a roll of the dice for Alpine. Let's be real, right? And it's paid off massively. But is it a long-term roll of the dice? I think everyone, himself included, knows that that's not the case, but he's doing the job right now. So he's very right in saying that, I deserve to be here because I'm at the level, and he clearly is. He proved that in Canada more than anywhere. But then Ocon, I still think has shown a good amount. I think he's shown that, he's still got years in him. He can take an opportunity when it's presented to him, like he did in Hungary. I think, generally speaking, he's pretty good. Like that consistently. He was in the points last year as well. Yeah, you lot are pretty split. Slightly 54% of you would drop Alonso. 46% of you would drop Ocon. The thing is, I guess as well, because if you drop Ocon, and then it's Alonso Piastri, I think, let's just say that we get 2023 and 2024 out of Fernando, right? For 2025, then they've got to find another driver. Whereas if you have Ocon Piastri from 2023, say, that's your lineup for the foreseeable, surely, you know? Alonso's timeline and Alpine's just doesn't match up. I think, Logan, that's a very good way of putting it, mate. Look, there's arguments to both sides. I think, yeah, there's merit in both. I just hope that... What would... You know what I'd like to see the most? I'd like to see Piastri in the Williams and as a Williams driver alongside Albon. That's what I'd like to see. But then I'd like to see Sargent in the Williams as well. I don't know. Lots of people need seats. It's true, Darren. It's true. All right, cool. You know what, everyone? I think that's about wrapped. We went through the race, talked a little bit about the Castellet circuit, Paul Ricard. Saw your predictions. My predictions, reflecting on yours. So I think... Do I think this is Mercedes' weekend to shine? I'm still saying... I'm saying Charles Leclerc race winner. I'm saying... Alpine team of the weekend. I'm saying... Alonso driver of the weekend. But I'm saying both Alpines top 6. Struggle of the weekend... Me yesterday, even though that wasn't the weekend because I was so dead yesterday. It was horrific. No, a struggle of the weekend. I don't know. Who do I think will be particularly poor this weekend? I'm actually going to say Bottas because I think Joe has stepped up quite significantly in the last few races relative to Valtteri. So I think he might beat him this weekend. That's my only logic going on. Can I see any of the current F1 drivers move into hypercars? It would be towards the end of their career thing, wouldn't it? If they didn't have an opportunity back in, then why not? You know, Ferrari joining LMDH. You got the funky Peugeot in there, ain't you? Latifi is a safe bet for struggle, but that's just kind of easy, isn't it? All right, everyone, I'm done. And for everyone who stayed till the very end, actually, hang on. I just want to check one more thing, actually, before I do go. That was a false dawn. No, it's not. Cool. I'll get Minton for you, because you lot haven't seen Minton for a bit. So there we go. 2 seconds. Find where it is. Minton. Oh, here he is. My beautiful boy. Here he is. Let's go. Let's go. Here he is. How many of you how many are you watching right now? There's about 2,000 of you. There's 2,000 people looking at you, Minton. Good pause on the mic. Oh, good boy. Took him for his first walk today in a good few days because it's been so hot. You shouldn't walk dogs in the heat. He is a miniature dachshund sausage dog. And I will never bring back the sneaker channel, Violent Alpha, I'm afraid. Because anytime I put towards that, I can't put towards this. And there's a lot more I want to do with this. So, there you go. But anyway, farewell everyone. Thank you all for coming. Like the stream, please. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because you might think you are, but you might not be. And I'm going to crack on with the rest of my day. Hope you have a good one. Stay hydrated, stay safe, be well, be happy, be kind. And I will see you. Am I going to do a quali stream Saturday? Not sure. So maybe quali stream Saturday. Definitely post-race on Monday. All right, we're done. Ciao, adios. Goodbye, everyone. I'm done. Farewell. Adios. Goodbye. Say bye, Minton.